Howdy! How's everybody out there in YouTube land tonight? Oh, I probably need to turn that down because I don't want to hear myself twice. There we go. A rookie mistake.
I did it too. Guilty. Hi, BrendaG from BrendaG's Designs.
Hey, man, Haas from Awesome Wood Things.
That's me. What are we doing here? This is crazy.
Well, it's a support stream. We got Dave Hart in the house. We got Jim Bashir's in the house. Mel Mel's in the house. Well, he was in the house. He had to go back to work. And we got Dave Hart in the house. Oh, he hears me. He's out there.
Good. Welcome, everybody.
Glad to have everybody with us. This is a sports stream. So if you haven't yet, check each other's channels out and support each other if you can.
Share.
Yes, share the dickens out of this. Let's get some folks in here. The more we have in here, the more support we get.
Oh, Brenda, I forgot to drop a like on the video.
Oh, slap a like on it.
Boom.
Boom, shaka-laka-laka.
It has been slapped.
Mel says he's off tonight, but he's got other things going on in the background. So he's back and forth.
Got it.
That's sort of like up and down, like a seesaw. Only it's back and forth.
Hey, we'll take it. You drop in to say hi. That's good enough. You play along the whole time. That's good too.
Yep.
We don't care.
Yes, we're easy going over here.
We're happy you're here.
We just want you to share it, slap a like on it, say howdy to us. Heiferbot's in the house.
Oh, Heiferbot just said something. Hi, yep. Heiferbot.
Heiferbot's out there. Their big old eyes.
Heiferbot needs like an icon. It's the generic user icon.
She needs a little cow. I don't know. Do they have any little cows in the emojis?
I'm sure. I don't know.
I never looked to see if there's any little cows. I bet there is somewhere.
Dave Hart dropped a Pennsylvania chat message to me. He says, "Did I have my Fosnot?" No Fosnots for me.
What's a Fosnot?
Those things will attach right to your arteries. It's a donut that's very high calorie that you're supposed to eat around this time because of, I suppose, Lent.
Oh.
It's a Pennsylvania born food item that's just very Pennsylvania Dutch, which means very high calorie, very substantial. Mm-hmm. It's like one Fosnot equals like 4 donuts.
I used to go to a swap meet over in Ohio in Amish territory, and they had a booth there where they fried donuts fresh.
Nice. Oh, thank you, Mel. He says he shared the video. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel. Appreciate it. Mel's got a good channel over there in case anybody hasn't checked his channel out. But Mel tells you the truth.
Oh, he says, Len started yesterday. Okay. Duly noted.
Yep.
Got it.
Them donuts over there, fresh made in Amish territory, them was the best donuts I ever had in my life. They surpassed Krispy Kremes, and that's for me to say that's going some.
Well, I mean, Amish, it's like real butter, real whole milk. You know, there's none of that stuff because they work it off.
Yep.
That civilization, that society moves. They are not sitting still.
Mel says he spent most of his life living in an Amish paradise.
Yeah, well, that's one county over is Lancaster. Well, 2.
Have you heard that song, The Amish Paradise?
Oh yeah. Amish Paradise and Riding Dirty, but it's white and nerdy.
Yeah.
So funny. A lot of Spock references in that song. So I got my communicator badge right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Weird Al, he's got it going on. I'll tell you what.
He is a force to be reckoned with. And even though you're legally able to parody songs, he always asks permission and waits to be granted permission before he does it. Not because he has to, it's just because that's the way he does it. I'm like, hey, more power to him.
I heard that he gets really upset if people send him ideas for parodies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I
guess yeah, Hollywood has I know it's music, but that industry, they get really weirded out over that because if they don't take it seriously, no one else will. it's so like people who are looking at scripts, if you even like whisper it, they'll get up and leave the table. Like they'll leave the restaurant because they're like, anyway, maybe it's the same with music. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's
Dave Hart said Coolio didn't like his Amish Paradise.
Did he do Amish Paradise? I guess he did. Weird Al, right?
Yeah, Weird Al.
Did he do that one too?
I'm pretty sure he was the one that did that. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a good catalog. So, Michael Jackson even greenlit a lot of the stuff. He's when he did I'm Fat instead of I'm Bad. That video, frame for frame, it was identical. Only, in a huge, but every little metallic thing hanging off the leather jacket was exactly the same as the video. It was amazing job on the prep work of that video, and it's a good song. So.
And Ray Stevens, he's done a good job too with some of his songs that he's come out with.
Coolio fought Weird Al over release. Oh no! See, I thought Weird Al Yankovic was always getting permission. That's weird. Maybe he kind of put that on the back burner for that one song. Who knows? Who knows?
So how's everything going for your rock thing?
Makers Rock?
Yeah.
Yes, makersrock.com is where you can learn all the information about it. I have my project completed. I am forbidden to show you my project until publish day, which is Tuesday the 12th. And myself and dozens of other makers are going to also publish that day too. So check Awesome Wood Things on the 12th and you'll get to see I did the Bohemian Rhapsody album cover. And it turned out really well. I mean, I'm not one to just toot my own horn, but like it's the best Makers Rock that I've done. This is the 4th year of it.
Now you might want to explain a little bit to those that's in the room that don't know what the Makers Rock thing is, so they know what you're talking about.
Well, we call it the largest collaboration for makers. And what we do is recreate an album cover, like the 12 by 12 vinyl album cover. It's supposed to be wall art, like wall hanging art. And we can use any material in our shops, wood, plastic, metal, whatever. And it's just our interpretation of that album cover in other materials for fun. And then we all publish the same day on YouTube. You gotta have a YouTube channel. And every YouTube channel will run a contest and give away what they've created. So I'm giving mine away, and the 20 other people that are doing it are all giving theirs away. And each creator runs their own contest with their own rules. And it's a lot of fun. And along the way, everyone promotes everyone else because it's sort of a promotion is sort of built into the whole thing. So if you're a small maker or a big maker, you get in on this and everyone kind of cross promotes. So you get a little more traffic and you get to have fun playing along, making awesome rock albums in your shop.
And it doesn't have to be a rock album.
Well, we prefer it to be rock because it's Makers Rock. But we've had people go off into different genres before, but mostly it's a rock album. Now, what's rock? Rock is a wide spectrum. I mean, Tom Petty did rock, but he's kind of mostly not rock. We don't care. We just want you building something you're passionate about in a coordinated effort with 24 other people. And every year it's growing. This is year 4 we've done it. And,
well, Mel asked you a question. He says, if your life was to be made into an album cover, what would it look like?
Definitely something creative because I'm a very creative person. I don't know. That's a hard. What album would it look like? Or what album would it be? Would I pick an album?
If your life was made into an album cover, what would the cover look like?
It would be the Kiss Destroyer album with them coming, like stepping out of hell, and attacking the world. I listened to that album a lot. I had a lot of Kiss albums and Motley Crue too. And the old Metallica until Metallica got all crybaby-ish. and went in front of the United States Congress and testified that Napster was bad. Never forgave you for that, Metallica. But no, Kiss was fun. I grew up on it. Would be the Kiss Destroyer album. Four guys all painted up in makeup, not giving a crap what anyone thinks, stepping out of flames and explosions. That's my life right there.
See, now my life was a lot different because I was brought up in a very strict religious household, and I wasn't allowed to listen to rock and roll music. So, what little rock and roll I got to listen to was something maybe on a transistor radio when I was at school or something. They played some country in my household. So, I don't have a whole lot to draw on from that perspective, but I know what I like and I know what kind of art I like. So I'm probably going to play along next year. And I've been looking. I haven't really settled on anything in particular yet, but I've been looking and thinking about concepts of how I would create different covers. And so I may come up with something next year and scare you all half to death.
Well, we have every Makers Rock video saved in a playlist for that year. If you go to Awesome Wood Things and go to the playlist tab, it's not front and center on the channel front page, but go to the playlist tab, and then you'll see Makers Rock 2016, 2017, 2018, and a 2019, but that'll all populate on the 12th.
I'm sure whatever I come up with has never been done before.
But if you still, if you just want to get a look at what everyone has done, they're all out there.
But see, that would be like, Weird Al, he don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Talk to the hand.
Dave Hart says the Kiss Love Gun album with all the honeys on it. Yeah, now we're talking. Yeah, no, speaking of growing up, you know when you get to the age, there's some point in your young life when you're transitioning, when you're starting to become an adult, that you realize that adults don't always have their act together. Because at some point you're like, yeah, adults are infallible. They're wise. But then you think like, no, I don't quite agree. That happened with rock and roll music because there was a time when Tipper Gore, remember Al Gore's wife, was doing all what she made the sticker eventually come around. This is parental advisory warning, and she was trying to, and they had burnings. They had album like book burnings, but they were album burning. And I remember on the news throwing albums in there, and one of the albums was Queen's because they didn't like We Are the Champions because it sent the wrong message that you shouldn't rub it in when you were winning. And I just remember thinking in my young mind, I'm like, that doesn't sit right with me. I'm like, something's wrong with that. The world isn't all perfect like it's made out to be. And that was when I really started thinking like, no, I don't buy it.
Yeah, the church we went to, we had record breakings. And if you had anything that was not a gospel type album, you had to break it. Didn't matter what genre it was, if it was country or what it was. If you had anything that wasn't gospel, you had to bring the record and break it.
Yeah, Dave Hart, his first concert was Kiss Alive 2, World Tour, Philadelphia. Oh man, that would have been awesome. Kiss is coming back around to Hershey, Pennsylvania in the summer. The tickets are like so ungodly expensive. My friend last year invited me to work selling t-shirts at the Guns N' Roses concert, and I said yes. And they knew I was older, and they said, why don't you put Matt in the stadium? Because they had booths outside the stadium, and they had some under the grandstands, and they had one on the floor, and I was positioned there. And once they came out, the first 4 songs, I was selling t-shirts. I'm like, I'm taking a break. And I went around back of the booth and I watched the whole rest of the concert, not selling one t-shirt. And they paid me for it. I put my hours in, and 8 weeks later, I got a check in the mail. I'm like, they paid me to see. Now I worked 12 hours. You know, I was there in crack of dawn, setting up, busting my butt. But yeah, so I still have the T-shirt, the vending T-shirt, because it's a third-party vendor that did it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna call up my contact and say, hey, you need help for tips? Because when I went on StubHub or wherever I was, you know, the nosebleed seats are $350.
Yeah.
No, that's just ridiculous.
The last concert I went to was Hank Jr. concert, and I was sorely disappointed. I mean, this has been 30 years ago or more, but I was really disappointed because he was lit, and you couldn't understand anything he was saying. He couldn't even stand up. They brought a stool out for him to sit down on, and he didn't even make any sense, and it was just horrible.
Oh, he shouldn't have been touring.
But there again, a friend of mine and I probably had a lot to do with that because we found their bus that afternoon and partied with them all afternoon.
See, there you go. There you go.
But his concert was really bad.
Even the tamest person, the concerts are just, it's a different experience because I didn't see this, but my friend saw Huey Lewis. Remember Huey Lewis?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Straight, you know, take home to mama Huey Lewis. There are big pot clouds of smoke flowing over, you know, people just, it's sort of a different take. My brother, he worked as the hotel front desk when Judas Priest came to town. And the drummer had the same first and last name as my brother's best friend. And he got to talking to him. And he said he was the smartest, intelligent, he was a great guy. He was nothing like the rocker that you would imagine in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And him and a few other, and I'm Rob Halford. And that wasn't the whole band. It was the drummer, Rob Halford, and went to my brother's house at 2 a.m. in the morning and partied all night long with Rob Halford from Judas Priest. I was like, why didn't you call me? You should have called me. It was 2 a.m. You should have called me. I never forgave him for that. That was fun. I bet. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Hey, we got a couple new ones in the house. We got Dakota and families in there and Cerebral Killers in the house. Good to have both of you with us. This is a support stream, so check out the other channels that's in here. So, and be sure and share this. Invite your friends. You know, let's get as many people in here as we can get. The more we get, the better it's going to be as far as support is concerned. So, you know, I've shared it out all over the place about an hour before the show, and need everybody to share this out. Let's get plenty of folks in here.
Good to have you here, Cerebral Killer. If anyone drops a super chat, I'll turn on these lights. How about that?
There you go.
Look at that.
We'll have a dance party.
There we go. You never know what'll happen.
Yeah, you never know. When I have a show, it's liable to be anything.
Even $1 will make them fire. I interned at a recording studio and got to hang out in session with John Bon Jovi, says Dave Hart. That's cool. That guy is very down to earth. He is a very personal guy. I remember he invited some celebrity over to a place in Manhattan, and they thought, oh, it's just some sort of crash pad or just some sort of a little place he has just so he's local in that area. It was his full residence. He's like, yeah, come on over. It wasn't, yeah, he was in the art too. Like he collected like high-end art pieces. He probably still does. But yeah.
Now, a lot of people don't know this about me, but back, oh gosh, let's see, it's been 40 years ago. I had a lingerie shop in a bar.
How does that work?
Well, it was a huge bar, and they had all these little stores all around the inside perimeter of the bar. At one end of the place, I mean, this place was huge. At the far end, they had rock and roll, and at the end I was on, they had the country. And they'd have live bands come in on Saturday nights to put on a show through Sunshine Promotions. You probably heard of Sunshine Promotions. It's, you know, big. It was back then a big deal. And so I got to meet a lot of the country performers that came in. And it wasn't anything to just sit around and on a Saturday afternoon and have a beer with them after they got done with their practice and stuff before they went out to get ready for the show. I partied with Sawyer Brown. I'm sure you probably heard of Sawyer Brown. George Jones, Boxcar Willie.
My.
Trying to think some of the other ones is in there. Oh, David Carradine. He couldn't sing a lick, but he was a hoot to hang out with. He thought he could sing. Bless his heart. Where's my button? Bless your heart.
That's cool. I love it. And you know what? The celebrities are just people too. And my thing is the best angle is to just talk to them like equal. Yeah, you just kind of, if you fawn over them, it gets awkward and weird. And my uncle does that too. My uncle, he's a master at it. He was a salesman all his life, and so he had all the social cues down. He would get in with all kinds of celeb. He kind of ran in different circles, but yeah, he was real good at that.
Did you ever know anything about the wrestling era or the wrestlers? You ever hear of Jake?
WWF?
Yeah, Jake the Snake.
Oh yeah.
Okay, me and my husband, we was hanging out at Holiday Inn. It was right up the street from the house. They had a nice lounge in there, and they'd have entertainment there in the lounge. So we'd go up there, because it was just right up the street from the house, close. And one night we was sitting in there, and the wrestling had been going on up at the arena. And so we're sitting in there watching the entertainment, and Jake the Snake and his girlfriend came in to the lounge. And they sat there for about 5 minutes. And so I just went down there and sit at their table with them. I thought, what they going to do? Run me off?
There you go.
They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. We had a good time.
That's fun. That's fun.
Sit there, had a few beers and watched the show. And, I talked to them about their stay in town. And,
Yeah. No, I went to a concert, and I actually mentioned this little story in one of my past Makers Rock videos. Was Typo Negative, sort of a band, kind of like, I don't know how to describe them, but anyway, we went to a bar early because this was out of town, and we got there crazy early. So we went to a bar. I had no money. I had enough money for one beer for myself and like a handful of change. Like I was broke, and I had my ticket to the event. And it was like soon after I just started driving. Like I was young. Well, no, I had to have been 21 because I was at the bar. So I had just turned 21, but I was dead broke. And the band was there. We're like, there's the band. And we're like chatting between ourselves. We're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And we tried to make a plan. And then they get up and start leaving. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want them to leave. So I said, hey, Peter. And he turned around, and this guy is a Hulk of a guy. Not big, but he's like crazy tall. He's like 6'5" or something. He's just a massive human being. And he stops dead, and he turns his head around, and he locks eyes with me. And I'm thinking to myself, I gotta say something. Like, what should I say? I say, let me buy you a beer. I had no money to buy anything. And thank God he goes, oh, thanks. We got to get to the show. I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll see you there. He's like, cool. And my friends, they had a little bit of money, but had he said yes, I know my friends, not one of them would have pitched in because they just want to see me squirm out. I'm like, you bastards. I knew you wouldn't help me, but thankfully I didn't even have that opportunity. But that was...
Jim Bashirs is in the house. Say hey to Jim. We got Mighty Mo Excavating in the house. Good to have you with us. Everybody be sure and check out each other's channels and support each other if you can. And when I say support, I mean, when you go over there, if you like what you see, you play a video and hit their red button and leave them a like on their video and say something in the comments. Make them, say BrendaG sent me or liked your video, thumbs up, say something. If you don't make a connection, that algorithm thing won't count your subscription. They're getting real tight on this at the YouTubian planet. Yeah. So, let's keep the YouTubians happy over there.
No subscribes.
That's right. And Dave Hart said that he met a lot of music artists and was never starstruck, but when he met Sergeant Slaughter, he's like a giddy schoolgirl.
There you go. Yeah, Jim's been here a while. He's been poking around here for a while. Jim Shears.
Yep.
from
And
Driveway Workshop with Jim Bashir.
he's supposed to, we're going to send him a lot of healing wishes because next week he's supposed to have his operation. So,
Yeah.
we want him to heal up and get back with us as quickly as possible. Speaking of next week,
What do you have in store?
see how you are. Next week, for anybody who's not in the woodworking community, they're going to have a big party down in Atlanta. And all the rich folks is going. But us poor folks has to stay home.
It's open to everybody.
So Matt is leaving me high and dry next week so he can go party with the rich folks. And he's leaving me here. So I will be with y'all next week here on the channel. And to sit in with me in place of Matt is going to be Al Forte. Al Forte. And Odessa Woodworking. He couldn't be here tonight because he is celebrating an anniversary. I wish him and his wife, the saint, all the best.
Happy anniversary, Al.
Nice. She's a saint to put up with him, let me tell you what.
He's from Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shack, or Maker Shop. Oh, gosh. That's his YouTube channel.
That's what he gets for not being here.
79763 on Twitch.
That's what he gets for not being here to defend himself.
Well, I know. Yeah. Hey, I have something to tell you, and I think once you hear it, you'll excuse me from the show with your good graces.
Did you bring me back something pretty?
Well, I learned what's going to happen down there, and it's amazing. First, one of the YouTubers was asking how to get that. What's that stuff called when they freeze a wart, like liquid nitrogen, frozen liquid nitrogen?
Yeah.
He was asking if you can obtain that and how and where to go get some. And we're like, what the heck are you doing? What they're going to do is they're going to take White Russians and freeze it into those Dippin' Dot type things, but it's going to be White Russians. So we're going to have edible White Russians to consume at one of the parties down there in Dippin' Dot form, made with the liquid nitrogen, I think is what it is. And I mean, come on. Come on. How could I miss that?
You may not make it back.
Oh, AJ just popped in the house. Hello, AJ.
Yeah, Ruby Slippers is in the house. An old car auto guy is in the house. Good to have you with us.
Yes.
Life with ankylosing spondylitis. That's Ashley. She's in the house. Good to have you with us. Everybody be sure, like the stream and share it out someplace. I don't care where.
If anyone has an interesting fact that will blow our minds, you drop it in the chat and we'll riff off of it. Just something you think we might not know, or just something you think is pretty fascinating. Panty raid. Oh, come on.
Well, see, I gave Ashley this idea the other day because it would really go good on her channel. She does makeup and stuff. And I said, what you need to do is like a morning coffee and panty and makeup show, and talk about all kinds of panties and how to coordinate that with your makeup and stuff. And she ain't done it yet. I'm waiting.
Is panty coordination with makeup a thing?
Well, it could be if she makes it that way.
No, well, you do have some golden ideas there. So maybe you're onto something, Brenda.
People would tune in just to see what is she doing. See, that's why they come here. What is she doing now?
I know that Jenna Marbles has her shows like "What Does Blank Mean?" And they're like, what does your underwear mean? And she went through the different kinds of underwear and what social implications.
Right? Yeah. I mean, there's just all kinds of different directions you can take that. And I guess part of the reason I got the idea was back when I first started my show, I was doing live streams with crafters. And one of the ladies that I had on the show with me had shown me a few days before off the air some material that she had gotten. And she had this one real pretty pink material. Well, when we got on the show, she was showing this journal that she had made, and she'd put different things on different pages and stuff. She got this one page she flips to, and it's got some of that pink material that she had shown me. And I don't know. I mean, my mind just goes in odd directions. Nobody knows what I'm ever going to say or do. And I said to her, I said, is that some of that some of them pink panties that you showed me the other day when we was over in the hangouts, did you cut them up? And everybody run with that. So for weeks, every time people come in the chat, they, be saying something about the pink panties. And but
See,
it keeps people coming back,
I'm telling you, if this is a true fact, as a guy, when guys picture two women in a room together alone, it's underwear tickle fights.
Yeah.
Like that's just a certainty in our mind. Like that's what happens. It's like, what do girls do when they're together? Let's strip down to our underwear and have a tickle fight. Boom.
That's what we do.
I knew it. I knew it.
Let's say old car I can't even say it now. Old car auto guy said, did you know St. Stephen, New Brunswick is Canada's chocolate town?
Oh, really?
Just like you have Hershey, Pennsylvania.
We do. Yes. It's right there on the Hershey Highway.
Now, why would they call St. Stephen instead of like, St. Wonka?
Right.
Say there's the direction my head goes.
Well, Hershey is a fictitious name. It's not the official name of the town. It's Derry Township. Like when you're there, the police, they're Derry Township police. There's no such thing as Hershey. Now it says Hershey on the streets or the highway sign, the exits, and it's Hershey on the map, but there really is no formal Hershey. Just like Los Angeles is really Hollywood. Hollywood's a fictitious name too. And I remember when my son's friend was 11, he's like, Matt, how far away is Hollywood from Los Angeles? I'm like 0. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's the same town. And I went on to explain it to me. He was like, oh, I never knew that.
See, now it seems to me that in Hershey, Pennsylvania, when you say, they have the street signs and stuff, the street signs should be shaped like a Hershey bar. They should be brown with silver lettering and silver at the ends of them, like the foil on the Hershey bars.
Well, the street lamps are Hershey Kisses. Did you ever see those?
No.
Yeah, they are. They've got the silver foiled ones with the Hershey little strip of paper coming off, and they have plain chocolate ones, and they alternate all the way down the main highway there.
No, I mean, I've never seen them, but yes, that's as it should be, and everything should be geared toward like a Wonkaville. It should just be that way.
Yeah, there's a
they
lot.
Should have a chocolate fountain in the center of town. And
I tell you what, it's my brother had a half-sunk basement apartment in the town center, on the cheap. It was like he would get donation things in the mail from the township saying, send us money for the flowers in the middle of the main street because they keep it real nice and groomed and everything. And it was $200, $500, $1,000 other, and the other was on the other end of 1,000, like assuming that people would put more than $1,000 on there. And here's this guy, my brother, didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, living in this little hole in the wall, half sunk basement type of apartment with suspended. It was just a nasty place, but it was what he could afford. But he just happens to be in the most affluent area of Pennsylvania, which is Hershey. And he's like, man, this is just, you're on a different level if you're like, he was out of place in that town for a while. But yeah.
Oh my. Well, we got some other stuff coming in the chat here. AJ says, fact, there's only one letter that does not appear in any state.
Oh. I wonder what that is.
Is it Y? No, because Wyoming has a Y in it.
X?
That might be.
I would say it's X.
Trophy Shot Outdoors is in the house. Hello to you. Be sure and hit a like on the stream, share it out so other people come in here. We'll see how many folks we can get racked up in here tonight. This is the best kept secret on the internet.
J? Does anything have a J in it? A state?
I don't know.
Maybe it's
AJ says Z is in Arizona. J is in New Jersey.
Oh, right.
Two X's, New Mexico and Texas, but not a single Q.
No Q's, eh? New Mexico.
Yeah, there you go.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a mind blower.
Let me drop some. I give virtual tacos when people give mind blowing stuff. So,
in case you know, here, Matt drops tacos in the chat, and I do the cowbell ring. I mean, it's not worth anything in particular, but we have fun doing it.
we do. Yeah, it has no value in the real world.
Yeah.
But you get bragging rights here.
Sort of like Monopoly money.
Here we go. One taco. Market. I dropped another taco earlier. I think Dave Hart had some interesting stuff. Oh, about the bands. Yeah, Dave Hart. So
Jim Bashir says the third Apple founder sold his 10% stake for $800 in 1976. He lives in a trailer now.
Yeah, he's I think he lives in Nevada and trolls around Las Vegas. I think he lives in Las Vegas. The founder. Yeah, wow. Boy, wasn't that a mistake?
Yeah.
Mistake. I had some Apple stock I bought in 97. No, 2000. It was 2007. Yeah, it was 2007. I think I bought it somewhere around there. And I sold half of it and used it as to pay down my son's car. I bought my son a car. I didn't buy him a car. I put half towards his car, and it was Apple stock that I bought all those years ago. It was nuts. I got it when it was $147 a share. And then since then it split 7 times. Anyway.
Yeah.
It was, but once Android started nipping at their market share, I'm like, I think I'm out. I think the tide's changing.
Yeah.
Even though they have more money than any other company, because that was Steve Jobs was freaked out because the company was hurting for cash, and Microsoft had to grant them they had to buy into the company. Microsoft owns a piece of Apple, and they had a deal where Apple would continue to support Microsoft Office applications. So Microsoft Excel would still run on the Mac, and there was a whole big thing, and that saved them. And they came in with the iMacs, those gumdrop iMacs, and it was uphill ever since. But right before that time, before Steve came back, the place was going nowhere. That Sully guy, who was the Pepsi CEO, he ran it into the ground. It was not the same company, and it was. But the point was, Steve saw how hurt the company was with cash. So he's like, I want a wall of cash around me. And that's what they've been banking it ever since. And they've got tons of it. There was one time where it made more money than Exxon, 1 quarter. Wow. Exxon Mobil. A computer company made more than that. That's money. That's money.
Jim Bashir says Wilford Brimley was Howard Hughes's bodyguard.
That's another crazy guy, Howard Hughes. His story is really out there. He became a recluse at the end of his life, where he was eating nothing but Snickers bars for 2 months. It was his only food intake. And he didn't comb his hair, he didn't shave, he didn't bathe. He was just a weird. He kind of went south there for a while.
AJ says peanuts aren't technically nuts; they're actually seeds.
Oh, really? AJ, you're getting another taco for that. Thank you. Seeds, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I heard, that they're starting to think that the absence of peanuts in your young life could lead you to a peanut allergy. They say if they did a control where they had some sort of candy bar that had a very small amount of nut powder in it, and they would give these to these young children in very controlled, they were to come back and get a checkup every day, and then they tracked them throughout their lives. This was a pretty big study, and then statistically speaking, very few of them got peanut allergies
Hmm.
compared to the ones that didn't have the control of. It was a double blind anyway. So they're starting to think that if you get, as a parent, over concerned and restrict all peanuts from your young child, you might actually be. Anyway, just a theory. I just found it interesting that
Yeah,
they.
I never had any allergies until I was a teenager, and I had a pizza with anchovies on it one night out with some friends, and when I got home, I had broke out in hives,
Hmm.
and s a few days later, one of the fellas that I was out with that night, in a group of people, he asked me out on a date, and I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, I guess I'll go because I gotta figure something out." And he says, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, when I come home that night, I broke out in hives. I don't know whether it was the anchovies or hanging around with you. So if I go out with you, I'll find out if I break out in hives that it's you that I'm allergic to."
Wow. Crazy. What do we have here? The founder of YouTube, because it didn't start at Google. Google bought it.
Mhm.
Chad Hurley, Pennsylvania guy, Reading. It's a couple towns over. Awesome. Yeah, small world, small world. We got another one from Jim Bashir. You want to read that one?
Yeah, it says in the mid 1980s, Fergie of the Black Eyed Peas was the voice of Charlie Brown's sister Sally.
I like the Black Eyed Peas. They're a fun band.
She can sing too.
Yeah, still very talented. Very talented. I like Fergie. My lumps, my lumps, my lovely lady humps, whatever. Or my humps, my lovely lady lump. Yeah. Black Eyed Peas. Apple had a commercial with the Black Eyed Peas with the iPod and the white earbuds flicking around. Yeah, they did a commercial for Apple.
Let's see, I've got one here. In Calma, a town in the Alabama desert of Chile. No, that can't be right. Good golly, I need better eyes. I need to get an eye transplant. In Calama, a town in the Atacama. There we go, Atacama, not Alabama. Lord, desert of Chile. It has never rained.
That can't be true.
That's what it says.
Wow. A place where it never rained?
Must be a place that you'd have to pass through because nothing could live there.
Sure. Sure. You'd think some stray cloud would find its way in there. Maybe they all burn up.
That's an interesting turn of events, isn't it?
Yeah.
A place that it
Well,
never rains.
Antarctica is technically a desert because it doesn't rain there either.
Hmm.
Very little precipitation. It's dry. Like if you
Angel
go out,
Menez is in the house. Hey, Angel, good to have you in the house. Be sure and check out everybody's channels that's hanging around here. Check the chat up and down and all that, and
Nation of Domination.
yep, share
Oh
the
boy.
share the stream. And
What's that channel about?
well, that's a group. The
Oh,
hashtag Nation of Domination. That's a whole group of folks that kind of hang out together. There's different groups all over YouTube that have little hashtags and stuff to their names and
huh.
all that. But yeah, well, I mean, technically, I guess our group over there could be like the hashtag Woodworkers uh, Insanity
Yeah,
group, or
like, hashtag maker,
uh-huh.
I gotcha. I gotcha. AJ says no number before 1,000 is spelled with the letter A.
Hmm. Now you're going through them all, ain't you?
Well, I was trying to think I guess and isn't technically part of the like
That's right. That's
1,001 because it's
yeah,
technically 1,001. You don't say
right.
the and, but
Yeah.
I think we broke that down earlier on a different show. Dave
No,
Hart says Purple Rain question mark. Why did you write Purple Rain? Maybe he was responding to someone else. Don't know. Don't know.
maybe it's purple rain in the desert.
Maybe someone likes Prince. The sky
Well,
was up.
Prince had me until he wore them pants that had the rear end cut out of them. And
Prince was
when he did that, I'm like, no, I can't.
his first album. He did every instrument. It was only him and sang. And
Yeah,
then
he's very talented. Why he didn't want to hang his rear end out there for everybody to look at, I don't know. Do you think it's that pretty, or
he got the ladies. Got the ladies, I'm sure. Ladies would throw themselves at him.
Well, not me.
I'm gonna go over to Angel's channel here. Check it out.
Jim Bashir says Calvin Klein's obsession for men is used by researchers to attract animals to cameras in the wilderness.
I think did we hear that before? Yeah, that's nuts. Here we go. I'm sharing Angel's channel. Yeah, Nation of Domination.
Mm-hmm.
See what we got going on here. You may have seen me on other people's channels, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I've been on panels with him.
It's a variety channel. Product reviews, cooking live streams, walking around town, music cup. Yep, sign me up. I'm there. I'll drop a big old like on that. There you go. I'm your 1,687th subscriber.
Nice banner and thumbnails.
Oh,
Nice
look, you put
page.
Teespring right up in there. Oh, look what else I got. I got my magnifier back, Brenda.
There you go.
Boom. There, Teespring. Can you see that?
Uh-huh.
Yes. I like Teespring. They got the primo t-shirts because I got like the super, super, super soft one. They've got like 3 layers of t-shirts. Fun. Cool. I got a new channel to watch. That's what you do. What I just did, folks, you can go ahead and do yourself if you see a channel name that's real interesting. Oh, my sub count went up by 1. Was that someone here? Go ahead and claim. This is my subscriber counter. It's not listed as a subscriber counter, but it is. This guy made it. Marcel's Workshop. That's his YouTube channel. Go check him out if you want.
Jim Shear says the Arkansas School for the Deaf's nickname is the Leopards, the Deaf Leopards.
Oh, isn't that cool? All right, Jim. I think I owe you 2 tacos for this one and the one before. So there you go. That's the first double ever taco that I've awarded. Congratulations, Arkansas. Yeah, that's a fun name. There was a college football team that wanted Admiral Akbar from Star Wars to be their mascot, and they wrote a letter to Lucasfilm, and Lucasfilm mailed them a letter back and said he can't do it. He's somewhere in a far off galaxy. It was some sort of nice kind of polite no, but could you imagine going to a college and you're the Akbars as the mascot? That'd be amazing.
How musical are you?
I wish I was more musical. I love music. I don't play music.
Well, AJ's got one for you there in the chat. He says most toilets flush in E flat.
E flat. Isn't that cool? I wonder why. Is that a pun I'm missing, or
I don't know.
I know slot machines are C because C is the most pervasive, like it carries and is the most like, doodle-doo, the noise that slot machines make. They very purposely chose whatever range that is on a slot machine.
At any given time, there are 1,800 thunderstorms in progress over the Earth's atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You see those lightning maps. They're like all over the place. There was just a slow-mo channel that had like 3,000 frames a second, and it was lightning. It's supposed to be epic. I heard it on Philip DeFranco mentioned it. Now, I didn't watch it, but I was like, whoa.
Lightning. Dan Enge's in the house.
Dan Angie Woodworking. Hello,
Good to
Mr.
have Dan
Dan
Ingy
Angie.
in the house.
Hello, hello, hello.
Make sure and slap a like on this and share it out with all your friends. Bring everybody in. Jim Dockrell says the word seen is the S or the C silent.
Guess those are fighting words. Maybe that's something you don't ask. Just like who would win in a fight, a pirate or a ninja? You never ask that question because you're going to get people button heads.
Now, read that one from Dave Hart.
In Australia, it is E-pound.
So now that's not flat. What is that? Sharp? E sharp?
Oh, does the pound symbol mean something in musical? Huh.
I used to know all that. I used to be able to read music.
Yeah.
That's been 50 years ago.
Officials in Portland, Oregon drained 8 million gallons of water from a reservoir in 2011 because a buzzed 21-year-old peed in it. 8 million gallons. That seems a little obsessive. But that was one of when Joe Rogan was on that TV show, the comedy he was on about that office build. Anyway, one of his funny quips was someone's like, I want that taken off the internet. And he was like, you can't take stuff off the internet. That's like trying to get pee out of a pool. It's impossible.
Yeah, it seems
I
to
guess
me like a little bleach in there might have, made a little difference. But yeah, I mean, the ducks and the fish and everything's peeing in it too.
I know, right? That's why I stay out of the ocean.
Yep.
I don't stay out of the ocean, but I still think about that stuff.
AJ says the Vatican City is the country that drinks the most wine per capita at 74 liters per citizen per year.
Those Catholics love their wine. Wow. I'll drop a taco for that one. Wine.
That's a lot of wine.
It is its own government, Vatican City. It's
Yeah.
its own sovereign, whatever.
Can't get late, stay drunk.
Jim Dockrell.
Lord, hello, Jim.
Everyone go subscribe to Jim Dockrell. He's
no
a riot.
filter. He has no filter.
And no shame. No shame. Like Jim's the type of guy you can pitch a bad idea to. He'll be like, what time? Sign me up.
Jim Bashir says in 2001, Beaver College changed its name to Arcadia in part because anti-porn filters blocked access to the school's website.
I believe it. I believe it. There was a dog breeding a magazine, 20 years in circulation, but it used the B word because a female dog is you've got the studs and you've got the bitch. And it had the word, and they're like, they couldn't make anything happen online. Guess what? Oh, I rolled up another one. Look at that. Yes. Drop a big old like on Brenda's page, please.
Yes. Slap a like on it.
Hit that like.
Dan Engie says the ranger at Folsom Lake once told me that if everyone peed in the lake, the level might rise.
Oh, that's just physics. Sounds like a dare. And you got yourself a taco. It's virtual.
Have you seen the little book that's circulating on Facebook? I mean, I'm not going to pretend I didn't know anything about this because it was sent to me personally by someone that we know asking me if I knew about it. Have you seen the little book?
Negative.
That says, oh, I'm trying to remember the name of it now. What is it? Brenda's beaver needs a shave or something.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh Lord.
Right.
He sent it to me privately, and he says, "Have you seen this?"
I love those children's books that it's all double entendre, but like
Yeah.
to a kid, you wouldn't know. It was like the woman had an actual pet beaver.
Yeah.
And then like her friend came and she also had a pet beaver, but he had like a mohawk and the beaver had a landing strip on it.
Mhm.
And then her other friend from Brazil had a bald beaver. It was
Yeah.
a Brazilian beaver. Do you remember? It was some uh, Nielsen film, one of those airplane films, and the woman's up on the ladder in the library getting something down off a high shelf, and uh, the funny guy, the what's his name? Nealon. He's looking. He says, "Nice beaver," because she's got a skirt on, and she's up above him. He goes, "Thanks," and she hands down a stuffed beaver to him. Like in the next scene, he's like talking about the actual stuffed beaver.
Mhm.
Laugh my butt off on
Yeah.
that one.
Oh, mercy. And I said, "No, I hadn't, but apparently somebody has. I haven't seen mine in years, but thanks for letting me know."
What's it? Jim Bashir says in Gaddafi's compound, Liberian rebels found a photo album filled with pictures of Condoleezza Rice.
It's Libyan rebels found a photo album
Libyan.
filled with pictures of Condoleezza Rice. So apparently Gaddafi had a thing for Condoleezza,
Wow.
which doesn't really surprise me much because, as I understand, she used to go over there and visit quite a bit.
What was she? Was she Secretary of State? What was
Yeah,
her role?
yeah, I think that's what she was.
Man,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Was he Matt? Was he? Uh-oh. What was that in response to? What did I say that warrants Jim Bashir saying, was he Matt, comma, was he question mark?
I don't know. Since there's a delay with the chat,
Yeah.
we tend to ramble on and change
I
subjects
know. Yeah, we're all over the place. I hope that's part of the fun. Is this entertaining for you folks?
Ah,
Brenda G from Brenda G's Designs.
if you get out of the shower clean, how does your towel get dirty?
Well, that was the argument on Friends. No, was it Friends? Yeah, it was Friends because Joey was like, or was it what movie was it? No, it anyway, he was like, I'm 100% clean. No, it was New Girl. Remember the show New Girl?
Yeah, I never got to
Nick
see it, but I know it was on. Yeah.
Nick was the fumbling guy, he was kind of like anyway. And they're like, you got to wash your towels. He's like, excuse me. I only use that towel when I step out of the shower, and I'm 100% clean when I'm out of the shower. Therefore, my towel that dries me out can never get dirty and never needs washed. They were like, life doesn't work like that. He couldn't make the connection.
That's right. AJ says Captain Crunch full name is Horatio Magellan Crunch.
Amazing. Yes. I think did someone say that before? That's fun. That there was a survey, and the college kids voted Captain Crunch their favorite cereal. So for a while, it was Captain Crunch was the college kids' choice for cereal, Captain Crunch, and it would ruin the roof of your mouth because it was so abrasive. You
Mhm.
crunch into it.
Great grandma's greenhouse is in the house. Good to have you in here.
Oh, she says, Doctor Who is awesome. Looking forward to the cool things you make. Thank you, great grandma's greenhouse. Here, look at this. I got this as part of my Secret Santa haul. Isn't this nice and soft pillow? Yeah, you walk into my office and you don't know who Doctor Who is. Your immediate question is, what are all these blue phone booths all over the place? Like, no, it's a TARDIS. It's a spaceship. That's also a time machine. It's a hard conversation to have. But yeah, I've got TARDISes everywhere. There's 2, 3. Got one here. See it? Let me see it. TARDIS. I've got 5 of them over there. Daleks. Got Daleks everywhere. Well, there's a Dalek right there. Got another one up there. Yeah, this is kind of cool. Look at this. Oh, I can't get it out.
Jim Docker wants to know if you think sand is called sand because it's between the sea and the land.
Didn't know.
Jim Bashir says Marie Curie's notebooks are still radioactive. Researchers hoping to view them must sign a disclaimer.
Oh yeah, that's no joke. Here's a little TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
He fell. I couldn't get what I wanted to. I had like profiles of all the doctors. Kind of like it was kind of a nice little art piece. And I have one TARDIS keychain where the TARDIS is actually three-dimensional, because a lot of them are just flat, just little graphics, but one's the actual shape of the TARDIS. It's really cool. Oh, now I got this all discombobulated.
Jim Docker wants to know who closes the bus door after the driver gets off.
How do we know the light in the refrigerator goes out? We eat the only people that have the evidence.
That's right. Jim Docker says, why is there a D in fridge but not in refrigerator?
These are questions we might never know.
There you go.
Yep. Great Grandma's Greenhouse says you have the collection. I do. I've got Doctor Who everywhere. I love Doctor Who. So Doctor Who is everything. Like Star Wars, one galaxy. The entire universe is in that one galaxy. Star Trek, all over the universe. Doctor Who, all of space and time.
See, I got one here. Erosion at the base of Niagara Falls has caused the falls to recede approximately 7 miles over the past 10,000 years.
Nice. Why does a 24-hour convenience store have locks on the doors? There you go.
Yep.
That's a good question. I know fire laws, like for smoke detectors, they're very relaxed on businesses that are open 24 hours because someone's always there.
Now, see, I think it's because they're open 24 hours, just not all at the same time.
Oh, Brenda. Oh.
So there you go.
I'm not firing on all cylinders tonight. I had a heck of a time sleeping. I fell asleep watching YouTube videos in the living room on the couch. So I woke up at 3:30. I'm like, I'm not in my bed.
See, I can't do that. It has to be quiet. We can't have TV or computer yakking or none of that.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'll give you a good one. I was shopping for a new auto insurance company because the one that I've been dealing with, they just aggravate the hell out of me. Every time I get a bill, it goes up, $20-$30 every 6 months. For what reason, I have no clue, because I don't have any strikes on my record or anything. So I finally got fed up with that, and I decided I'd shop for a new auto insurance company. And when you give your phone number, they give it to everybody.
Of course they do.
And so you have people calling you 50 times a day. Now, unless I know who's calling me, if it comes through, because my phone speaks, if I've got people in the registry there, it'll say so-and-so's calling, and all this. But if it just comes through with phone number, I don't answer it. They can just leave a message in the voicemail. If it's important, I'll get back to them. Mm-hmm. So the phone was constantly going off. I mean, you couldn't take a nap during the day at any time before 9 p.m. Phone going crazy. Just would not shut up. So I finally picked a company the other day, and they had quoted me through email, gave me this quote. So I thought, well, I'll call them up. I'll see what we can do here. So I called them up, and I was getting ready to agree to it, and she started strong-arming me.
Oh, no. Mistake.
Yeah. And I told her, I said, no, I'm not ready to do this right now. I said, there's some other companies that I want to talk to first. And she said, well, we'll give you the best deal. I said, yeah, and that's what the company that I've got my insurance with said too. And I'm shopping around. And when I'm ready, I have your phone number and I'll call you. I just called you on this phone call. So obviously I know how to dial a phone. I will call you. And she says, well, what would be a better time for me to call you, at 7 or 8 o'clock?
Pushing the hard sell tactics. Jeez. Oh, him and I woodworking just showed up. Welcome.
Hey, glad to have you in the house. Be sure and hit that like button and share this out with all your friends. Check everybody out in the chat there and support whoever you can if you like their channels. And when you support, be sure that you hit the red button. Leave them a comment on the video and play their video for them. Hit their like button. Just leave them a little comment there. Say BrendaG sent me. And that way we all get some support out of all this. That's the way we're going to grow our channels, is helping each other out here.
So I must know, how did you destroy this phone rep?
I told her, I said, what part of strong arming me isn't working? That is it that you don't understand? I said that if I'm ready, I will call you. And I just hung up on her because, I mean, she's just going to keep on. So later that afternoon, I just called the 800 number and got a hold of somebody else and bought the insurance through them. And I'll be dogged if about an hour later she didn't call me up. She didn't know that I called the 800 number. And so she starts in about, well, are you ready now to do this? You know, we can get your insurance. And I said, I've already bought insurance. And she says, well, who did you buy it from? I said, that's none of your business.
Oh.
And I said, maybe the next time that you're talking to somebody and they tell you not to strong arm them, you'll learn your lesson and not be bossing people around.
Jim Dockrell says, did you call Flo at Progressive?
No, they're too high. They're too high. They was about the same as the insurance company that I'm with. I went with Geico.
I had Geico. I switched to Progressive, but yeah, I got a weird situation, young kid, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I used to be with Progressive before I moved to Indiana. And when I moved to Indiana, they wanted to raise my rates $100 every 6 months. And I said, I just moved 20 miles. I said, nothing here has changed except my address. You know, what are you doing? And no, because I had moved to Indiana, they wanted to raise it $100 every 6 months. And so I said, well, now I know I can do better than this. So I went with another company, and it started out good, but then they wanted to be raising my rates every 6 months. Yeah. I don't drive 1,000 miles a year.
Right.
And I'm a senior citizen. I don't have any strikes on my record. You know, there's no reason for them to be raising rates like this. It's not like I bought another vehicle. My vehicle's just getting older. It's
no, I hear you.
So yeah, it was time for me to find somebody else. But I saved $280 a year going with Geico.
That's real money. Penny saved is penny earned.
That's a lot of money right there.
My woodworking says a USAA veteran benefit. Yeah, USAA is really good if you're eligible for it. But
I don't have veteran.
My victory with one of the cold calls was someone wanted to consolidate the debt or something like that. But the whole shtick was no out of pocket, no out of pocket. What they were really doing is they were going to give me one payment and they were going to siphon off some of the payment would go to them for, I guess, arranging the whole deal or whatever. But they wouldn't say it. They would no out of pocket. And I finally said, do you work for free or do you get a salary? And they're like, well, of course I don't work for free, Mr. Haas, because I get paid. I get paid every week. And I'm like, where does the money come from that funds the check that you get paid? Because it comes from the fees that they're taking. And they're like, click.
Yeah.
like they knew they were beat. They knew they were beat. I was like, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Not that I needed that anyway, but yeah, that was crazy.
I'd say what we got going on here in the chat.
If you don't like the way I drive, stay off the sidewalk, says Jim Spears.
That was my grandma on my mother's side of the family. I used to get telephone calls from the people in her town telling me that I needed to do something about her because she's a danger to others when she got behind the wheel of the car. Yeah.
That's tough. Jim Bashir says drowning is the top cause of death in the Sahara Desert. How is that possible? Is the one puddle of water just everyone jumps in it? Jeez. Crazy.
Say a 10-year-old mattress weighs double what it did when it was new due to debris that's absorbed over time. The debris includes dust mites, their droppings, and decaying bodies, mold, millions of dead skin cells, dandruff, animal and human hair, secretions,
Enough.
excretions, lint,
Enough. Enough.
lint, pollen dust,
Oh, where
soil, sand, and a lot of perspiration,
the view count's dropping.
which the average person loses at a rate of a quart a day.
Oh, Lord. I'm not talking about next subject. Jim Bashir said flash floods when it rains. Yeah, that's killer in the desert.
How old's your mattress, Matt?
We gotta get another one. We bought one of the first air mattresses, like the dial by number, like the sleep number, but before they were even a company.
Yeah.
Had Nautilus had a bed that was, and we bought that sucker. It was so expensive. It lasted us a long time. Now mine doesn't stay inflated, so I go to bed, it's nice and stiff, and I wake up in a hole.
You got a leak in there somewhere.
I do. I took it apart and put it all back together. I can't tell where there's a leak, but it does definitely has a leak.
Well, treat it like a tire. You put some water on it and see where it foams up.
Yeah, but it's a whole big thing. You gotta unzip the top mattress pillow, and I'm just like, I'm busy. I'll just wake up in a hole for a couple more weeks until I might get one of those. What do you call it? The Casper mattresses.
What about the purple?
No, that has the plastic dust inside that'll get in your lungs. There's a big
Oh.
controversy with the purple one because it has those little open holes, which it kind of makes it real springy. They're kind of like a bunch of holes, a bunch of cylinders, empty
Yeah.
cylinders, and that makes it nice and responsive. But to keep the walls from sticking together when it's hot and humid, there's dust inside, and the dust is the plastic material that everything's made out of. And then they're saying that that dust escapes up through the top layers of the top layers of the mattress, and you'll breathe it in. And plastic in your body is not good. Anyway, there was lawsuits and they sued and countersued, but it's not talcum powder. It's plastic, and they're like, oh, it's not harmful. Like, I ain't playing that game. But anyway, that was.
Oh, they're going on and on in the chat about the mattress.
Oh, see what you did. See what you did.
Now that must mean that when you take the mattress upstairs to the bedroom, it's new. It weighs less than it when it comes down.
Exactly what it means. Yeah.
Mel says, "Remember the waterbed?" Yes, for years I had a waterbed.
I'm reading Jim Dockrell's
Did you
quote.
know that when you are having trouble with your internet connection, $200 for a new HDD and the tech moving everything over and updating fixes it? I found that out today.
No, yeah, I try and do my own troubleshooting, but I have
Well,
a
luckily, I haven't had any issues other than the modem going out when it got hit by lightning. But that was just them sending me a new modem, and then I had to call them up to figure out how to get it hooked up right.
yeah, sometimes you have to. Jim Dockrell's talking about water beds. All 3 kids were made on one. My father-in-law had a full water bed, like none of this anti-wave shit. Like it was full on.
Yeah, that was my first one. I had one of those in the beginning, and then I got the one with the baffles in it. But when my husband passed away, I got rid of that thing. It was awful expensive to try to keep heated. My electric bill went down by half when
Yeah,
I got rid of that thing.
but and heavy too. Water is 27.5 pounds per square foot of water.
Yeah.
That's water is very heavy.
Yeah.
Hashtag's not called a hashtag, it's called an octothrope.
I called it a tic-tac-toe board.
It's the pound sign. Pound.
The U.S. government saved public tweet from 2006 to 2017.
The Library of Congress, it sucked it all in. Yeah. I wonder why they stopped. It's probably too much data. Tweets. Jack Dorsey was just on the Joe Rogan podcast with his head of um, trust and safety. There's a lot of crap going on. Twitter's actually on the decline.
Yeah.
It's not as popular as it used to be.
Yeah. That's what I was reading the other day. I think they're saying that Instagram is more
Snapchat has
popular
more.
or something.
Snapchat.
Okay.
Snapchat.
Because I'm not on either one of them. I don't have a smartphone. So,
Yeah.
until such time as, which is going to be a while, but one of these days I'm going to have to get a smartphone and then I'll be able to do that kind of stuff.
Oh no, Denny's. Remember Denny's in the 80s, early 90s? They wanted to give their employees off for Christmas, so they had to put locks on the door because they closed it just for that day. 157 million is what it cost them to put locks on their doors. We were
When,
talking about that earlier. No locks on. That's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's no Denny's close around here where I live, but back years ago when my husband and I lived over in Ohio, um, the nightclub that we hung out in, there was a Denny's right up the street. So that was a big deal, to go to Denny's for breakfast after the bar closed.
Love Denny's. Give me those Grand Slam breakfasts, baby.
The one we went to, they had a little front dining room that had booths and stuff in it, and then in the back they had the tables and stuff. Well, they wanted all of us people who'd been drinking to go back to the dining room, and not be out in the front of the place. So we'd have to wait for tables and stuff to clear up in the back room so we could go back there. And oh Lord, we was such a mess. And and it was not unusual back there in the dining room, face the back parking lot. And there, the whole back wall of the place was just plate glass, just windows. You just looked out into the parking lot, and it wasn't anything for somebody to streak or come back through there mooning.
It gets in those late hours. There's some
Yeah.
wonky stuff happening. I
We
love
were a
this.
rowdy bunch.
Denny's is delicious. And we used to go to Bob's Big Boy, which was sort of like a Denny's
Mhm.
similar thing
Yeah.
after the midnight Rocky Horror Picture Show showing. So around 2:00, we'd roll into Bob's Big Boy, man. Oh man, we'd have unlimited coffee because it was bottomless, and we must have had 7, 8, 9 cups of coffee, and then big mounds of hash browns. Oh, just destroy the place. Of course, we're all drunk as hell because we did nothing but drink before, during, and after the show, and roll into Bob's Big Boy. Those poor waitresses. Oh. And what we used to do is, you say, well, what's the name of your party? We used to say Udaman. And then when she would say Udaman party of 4, but it sounds like who the man. As soon as she would say Udaman, we said, I'm the man. Downhill from there.
Yep. Oh my!
I wish we had Waffle Houses up here, says Jim Bashir's. Yeah, we have Waffle Houses in Pennsylvania, and they're in Georgia where we're going this weekend. Not this weekend, but next
There's
weekend.
none around here close where I'm at. You got to go to the city to get to those kind of
That's
places.
sort of a different experience. That's not on the same level as Denny's or Bob's Big Boy. That's like a
Yeah, it's small time, but it's very homey because of the way they handle things in the
and
Waffle
everything. You're right on top of everything. They're cooking right on top of you.
Mhm.
They've got the bar where you can eat, and then one little strip of tables. That's the whole place.
You're,
And everyone's loud. They're like, "I need another hash
yeah,
brown."
smothered, covered, slathered, and
Yeah, yeah.
chopped and diced, and I don't know what all. I got a whole menu there for the stuff that they put on them things.
When the
Man,
woodworkers roll in, we are shoulder to shoulder on those tables, man. We are sandwiched in that place.
Jim Bashir says if you're old school and call the hashtag a pound sign, it gives the hashtag Me Too movement a whole new meaning.
Pound me too, yeah.
Yeah, him and I woodworking says I've been looking for a channel like this. Love seeing the woodworking channel. So hey, you're home.
Yep. See,
You're
this
home.
this was Brenda G's brilliant idea of bringing crafters because she has a big crafting community, and I have like the woodworking community behind me, and I run a little bit in the crafting community, and Brenda runs a little bit in the woodworking, but we like join forces.
I'm in everybody's community, whether they like it or not.
Brenda's always all up in your business.
I'm friends with everybody, whether they want me to be or not.
That's what I do too, man. It could be the metal workers, it could be the leather workers, the woodworkers. I'm all up in there.
Now, him and I said Waffle House is only good when you're drunk. And I don't agree. I disagree with that, and I'll tell you why. I love their T-bone steaks. They have really good T-bone steaks for a Waffle House. I mean, you would think that, oh, their steaks are going to be horrible. No, well, at least the ones that I go to have really good T-bone steaks. They know how to make a steak. Um, Elliot's in the house. Elliot Plays. Good to have you in there.
Hello, Elliot.
Everybody
Play.
needs to check out Elliot's channel. He has a little gaming channel, and he's a sweetheart. He's a young man, and he's just a real sweetheart. He is a very good supporter on a channel. You can't go wrong getting him in there.
My
So
sub count's going up. It's still going up, folks. Thank you for the awesome wood things support. That's a live sub counter.
yep.
Yes, yes, yes. Best cheap steak is Western Sizzler.
Now,
that
we don't have them here anymore. They used to have them over in Ohio, but they don't have them anymore. I think they was pretty much covered up by Golden Corral. And we don't even have a Golden Corral around here anyplace close. We used to have Ponderosa here in town, and they closed it down. So we have no steakhouses here in town anymore. You got to go to the city to get to those kind of places. But
yeah, we had Ponderosa too. That was where you order and then you sit down.
Yeah.
Now we have Haas's, HOSS. Apostrophe S, a lot of S's. And that's the same type of concept where you go to the register first and you put your main course in, and then you get the salad bar. Just like Ponderosa, but it was, yeah, we have that here.
Yeah, and this probably blow your mind. You're gonna give me a taco on this one. I have not even eaten at a restaurant in like 5 years.
What's up with that?
Well, there's nobody around here to go with, and I won't go by myself.
I'll come to Indiana and have dinner with you.
There you go. So I haven't even eaten at a restaurant. I mean, I've had fast food when I go through a drive-through. And I think like maybe 18 months ago, I probably got a pizza delivered from Pizza Hut. I don't like ordering from Pizza Hut. They always get the order wrong. But I mean, when you're one person, you order one pizza.
Yeah, of course.
How do you get that wrong?
I know. Dave Hart was talking about Bonanza Steakhouse.
I remember Bonanzas. Yes.
I remember that too. Yep.
Yes. Yep. There's been a lot of really good restaurants, just not make it. Just
That's
not
true.
survive. I saw it. Now this isn't a restaurant, but I saw on Facebook, I guess it was yesterday, that Family Dollar, a lot of those stores are going to be closed up.
Well, Dollar Tree's probably eating their lunch.
Well, here in this town, we have a General Dollar and we have a Family Dollar. Now I don't know if this Family Dollar is
or
one
Dollar
of
General.
There's a Dollar General and there's a Family Dollar.
Yeah,
no Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree's fine.
There's a Dollar Tree in the big city if you want to drive, 40 miles. But
there were big concerns over Dollar General because they have food, but they don't have a full suite of food. They have like the stuff that's doesn't go bad very often.
Yeah.
And then it was pushing out real food stores, and now people have less of a selection. Melmo says, "Haven't forgotten about your channel, Matt. He'll check me out then." That's good. Thank you, Melmo.
Cool.
Yeah, it's always there. I'm always there. Check back on the 12th. I have a killer video where I make album art. Should be fun.
Jim Bashir says he shops at Give Me $1. Yeah, we here in now this is a city. It's a county seat where I live. It's about 6,000 people, so it's small. But we have a Walmart and we have a Dollar General, and we have a Family Dollar. There's no other real grocery store except for the Walmart. So if you don't want to shop at Walmart, you have to go to the city in
Oh,
order to do
my.
that. And we used to have a Marsh, but it got put out of business by the Walmart store. Um,
Crazy.
they've had a petition to try to get an Aldi's in town, but I don't know whether, that would really even fly or not. There's a lot of people saying they'd support it if it would come to town, but
Right.
yeah.
That's tough. See, here in my town, the Giant moved from our town 3 miles to the other town, and people are up in arms because we're losing all the tax revenue, and then they got to drive 3 more minutes out of the way. Oh, it was just like, see, that's the kind of opposite of
Yeah.
where I'm at.
Yeah, if you want to go to the city, you just make you a list of all the places that you want to go while you're there. You don't just go to the city to, you know, go
Yeah.
to the grocery. If you're going to go to Lowe's, you're going to go to Best Buy, all the places that you want to go when you go to the city, you
And then
make your list out and you just hit them as you go and, make a day of it, pack a lunch.
and the food is last, so you can get it home while things are still cold. Yep.
That's right.
Nope. I
Yeah.
hear you. Mel says, I could have been in Queen. Yes, my most recent video is a teaser for what I'm going to publish on the 12th, and I dress up like Freddie Mercury in the aviator glasses, the mustache,
Mhm.
and the tank top with the studded armband and a studded belt. I would have bought the Adidas sneakers too, but they weren't they weren't on camera. So just imagine I'm wearing the triple stripe classic Adidas sneakers that Freddie wore.
But I've given him a new ending for his video tonight, so he's gonna have to re-edit it and
Not safe for work. Not safe for work. NSFW. PG-13.
if Ashley's still in the house, she's saying, "Oh Lord."
We should
After
put the
what she suggested
pre-show.
to me, I can't believe, whatever she said to him.
I have 2 suggestions for that'll rocket you to stardom. First suggestion is we put our pre-show banter into a Patreon only feed. And my second selection is you get a Patreon.
Well, I used to have a Patreon, but nobody wanted to support it. So I said, "Well, this is kind of a waste of time," and so I just took it down.
No,
I
mine hung out there for months until I got my first subscriber. Yeah. Elliot Place says Freddie Mercury. That's awesome. Yes. I love, and you know what? I've been learning some awesome facts about Freddie Mercury, facts that were not in the movie because the movie had a lot of facts. There is a lot of interesting stuff about that man and that band. It just blew me away. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle in little known but mind-blowingly awesome Freddie Mercury facts in that video. I think it'll be fun and entertaining.
Yeah.
He was something else. And the parties were off the hook. Now they had one of his raucous parties in the movie. It was nothing like those parties. He would hire little people and put mirrors on their head, and people would do cocaine off the midgets' heads at his party. And that wasn't even the most outrageous thing about his parties. They were so over the top.
Elliot had a question for you. He says, "I still need to watch the movie. Is it worth the watch?"
I think it was the best movie of
Okay.
2018.
And him and I woodworking asked if you do Instructables on your
I
Patreon.
do. I do Instructables. Let me show. I'll drop a link to my Instructables chant or page. Yep. Most videos where I'm building something, well, all videos I'm building some. Most of my videos come with an Instructable.
I have a lot of craft videos on my channel. I haven't done any craft videos lately. There will be some coming up here in the next few months. But there's playlists on my channel of all kinds of craft Instructables. So there's no woodworking other than maybe engraving or carving or something of that nature. But
Yeah.
there
I
will
just
be
put
some woodworking stuff coming up, at least my plan. See, I make
Cool.
plans and God laughs.
I mean, hey, for what it's worth, the Instructables I make, I think it's going to sound weird, but they're really good. I mean, my full-time job is taking complex problems and distilling them down into plain English and documentation and job aids and things like that. So these job aid, these Instructables, you can actually follow them in the right sequence. And I think that if you're ever interested in building something I make and I have an Instructable for it, I would venture that it will be very useful to you. Yeah, the one had the one project had I started out with 27 discrete steps that you had to follow. Now I mashed it down into I think about 10 different Instructable screens, but then each screen had bulleted lists of what you do in order. Anyway, I have a lot of fun with Instructables. It's a very popular website for instructions, and it pulls in a lot of traffic. It has a thriving community of itself, of its own, and you can really get caught up in it, and it can send you YouTube traffic. I look at my analytics, and a good chunk of them on the videos that I have in Instructable come from Instructables. Instructables.com. Yeah. It says Instructables is so frustrating. LOL. I just 1 second on my last Instructable. I don't know what that means, but yeah, no, it's kind of a different platform. They like 4x3. Like there's little nuances that are different. Like it doesn't matter what types of images you throw at it, but it kind of likes the 4x3 aspect ratio. So, and like when you pull stuff off your video program, it's all 16:9. Anyway, I don't want to get too into it, but I've kind of figured out a lot of ins and outs with the platform. It's fun. I have fun with it.
Heaven's Gates Cherry Farm is in the house. Good to have you in the house.
Oh, who doesn't like cherries? Come on.
Be sure and check out everybody that's in the chat. Check out their channels. Support them if you can. Oh, Heaverbot, she's hollering.
More cowbell.
More cowbell.
SNL just re-released or kind of pushed up on their YouTube channel the More Cowbell skit. Yeah, because back in circulation.
Yep.
I gotta have more cowbell. Don't Fear the Reaper song. Really explore the studio space.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm hearing, but I gotta have more cowbell.
Will Ferrell did an excellent job with that, though. I laughed so hard.
The one actor couldn't say his lines. Did you hear him cracking up behind him? Like it was so funny that yeah, it was.
I laughed. The tears rolled down my face. I was laughing so hard at that. Him and his belly hanging out, beating on that cowbell, dancing around. Man,
Will Ferrell is amazing. I love him. And that Step Brothers movie. Oh, so brilliant. So brilliant. It's so close to home because I know someone who's an older person, but is like just like the Step Brothers. Anyway, it's funny.
Well, now you're going to go to Atlanta. You're leaving Thursday, you say?
I am. Yes.
Yep. And now, what are you bringing me back?
Same thing I brought you back last year, only in a different color. Well, I'll have plenty of stickers, woodworking stickers. And look at this. I stocked up. I restocked my sticker supply.
Yep.
So if anyone wants a sticker in Atlanta, I think I'm going to wear a button that says "Ask me for a sticker." I'll bring you back whatever you want. How about a router table or a lathe or
I could use a bandsaw.
Bandsaw? Okay. A floor
floor
standing bandsaw or a bench top bandsaw?
Well, probably bench top.
Okay.
Will be good enough.
I need to replace mine. Mine pulls to the right. I don't know how to solve it.
I could use a planer and a joiner.
Okay. I'm making a list.
I mean, I'm not gonna hit you up for a whole big list of things, but
But a cabinet grade table saw. You want one of those too?
No, I don't really need one of those.
Okay. Okay.
And I got a miter
Disc
saw.
sander,
Well, that'd be nice. Yeah, yeah.
oscillating spindle sander.
One of them vibrating ones you talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Things on there?
It's like
Yeah,
the cylinder that
yeah,
goes up and down and spins, so it has a nice clean edge.
yeah, yeah. Something like that. Yeah,
Mhm. That's
that
good.
that'd work.
All right. We'll get that. We'll get that. How about a CNC machine? Do you want a CNC machine?
I'm not ready.
3D printer?
We'll save some stuff for next year.
A laser.
I
Laser
now
engraver.
yeah, a laser cutter. I mean, like them crickets. Something like that'd be
Oh,
cool.
oh, that's a vinyl cutter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Get your vinyl cutter.
yeah, something like
We
that.
love my Cricut. That's what did this right here, vinyl cutter.
Yeah. See,
That was
I ain't got one of them. I've
you would be great with a vinyl cutter. Come on. You're a
I've got
crafting channel.
I've got a spellbinders um die cutter. You
No.
put the die
No,
in
no,
it
no, no.
and cut
You
like
need a
that.
Cricut. You need
But
a
yeah,
Cricut Air 2 or a
yeah,
3.
I don't have any of them, fancy things that you program and all that.
You
This
you
one you
would
just
be
put the die in
so
it with the paper and you crank it and
yeah, we have those too. My wife's a crafter,
mhm.
but, we co-bought the Cricut machine, and it gets hammered, and she's never changed the blade, and that thing is used 5 times a week, every week, all year round. We hammer the thing.
See, now it would come in real handy for the quilling. I was showing you some of the quilling stuff. You cut strips of paper an inch, well, an inch, eighth of an inch thick. If I can get it up here at the camera, see,
Oh,
you
Dave
cut
Hart's leaving. Thanks, Dave.
these little strips of paper, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can buy them in packs. But if you've got one of them crickets, you can just lay your sheet of paper in there and program it, and it'll cut you strips like
Oh, T
this.
Square Talk just showed up. Hello, hello. Good to have you here.
Glad to have you in the house.
And,
Yeah, we're live right now in all our glory.
there we go. Heaven's Gate Cherry Farm says, "I'll give you my address. Can you send them all to me? All the tools?" Sure, sure, whatever you need.
Well, now see, tell the chat this. You wish in one hand
You want in the other.
and you want in the other. Mom always said, when you wish for a lot because you ain't getting nothing.
Seems like wise advice to
Yeah.
me.
So there you go. But see, I couldn't go to a place like that because, by the time I got the transportation taken care of and the room taken care of, I'd be so broke I couldn't get back. Much less looking at all that stuff and drooling all over it. They'd kick me out of the show. Say, get out of here.
I did it on the cheap last time. I roomed with someone and, drove myself down, and, yeah, 1 year I flew down. That was a big to do.
I'd have to go down and sleep in the van.
Go big or go home, says Driveway Workshop with Jim Bashirs.
Ah, well,
Speaking of that, we've been going for over an hour and a half.
yeah, it's about your bedtime, ain't it?
It's getting there. Need to catch up on my sleep.
Well, I'll remind everybody that since he's going to be gone next week, Al Forte is going to be here with me next week from Odessa's woodworking shop, not shack. And Mayhem's going to do something. I don't know what we're going to do. He asked me if there's a script. I said, you've never been on a show with me by yourself, have you?
He's a teacher, so yeah, that's a typical teacher thing to say.
I said, you make sure you're wearing strong breeches because we're flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah, he's Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop is the YouTube name. And Kilroy79763 on Twitch.
Yeah, Kilroy, a whole bunch of numbers.
It's his zip code 79763 from Odessa, Texas.
Yeah, like I'm gonna remember that.
It took me forever. I have it written down. See,
Yeah, there you
Kilroy
go.
79763.
I'd have to have it tattooed on my hand to remember all the numbers.
Here's on my Patreon supporters. You can see Driveway Workshop with Jim Bashirs. He's a Patreon supporter.
Yep.
Thank you, Jim, for your patronage on Awesome Wood Things or patreon.com/awesome wood things. Appreciate that.
So we hope you've had a good time. We hope you checked out everybody in the room. Tell your friends about this and bring them back next week. We have a good time here, and we're all about support and having a good time and supporting all the communities, not just one community. We support all the communities because we're all YouTubers. We're all in this to try to do the same thing, and that's grow channels and make friends here. So be sure you invite everybody to come and join us. It's on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time here on my channel every week. So we'll hope you come and see us all next week. And we've enjoyed having y'all in here. And with all that, I think we're going to say good night.
I think we're going to say goodnight too. T Square Talk is not far from Odessa, Texas, and Corpus Christi. Well, look him up. Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop. T Square. Yeah.
Yeah, he ain't hard to find.
Well, hey.
Everybody knows him.
He's a good guy. Yep. I'm trying to get him out to Atlanta. He won't come. I have to figure out how him and I can get together. If we would ever get together, we would geek out because we're both big Star Trek fans. Like, it would be a geek fest.
Yeah,
we should go on the cruise. There's a Star Trek cruise taking bookings.
There you go.
You, Al, and myself should go on a Star Trek cruise. You can go on a cruise,
but you guys would go. I know I don't get near water.
You can't feel it. It's a big ship.
Yeah, and there was one that went down in Greece. What was that? A year?
Oh, it sank 8 feet. You know,
people drown.
Nah. No, come on now.
The bathtub is as near as I get.
Star Trek cruise. Let's do it.
So with that, we're going to bid y'all adieu, and I'll see you next week. Matt will see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
So good night, y'all.
Good night.